Live in high definition from the CBS 4 studios. This is CBS 4 This Morning.
The Border Patrol Union says it's backing President Trump's measure to shut down the border. Good morning, and thanks for waking up with us for the new CBS 4 This Morning. I'm Melissa Meisner.
And I'm Justin Cree. More on what union officials are saying this morning that's coming up. But first, let's get right over to Amanda Guillen for the look at our Tuesday forecast.
Good morning and happy Tuesday. More warmer temperatures for today. Obviously, we are warming on up today than we were yesterday. Yesterday's high, 67 degrees. We hit that right on the nose today. Expected to be closer to 80 degrees, 49 degrees the current temperature right now in downtown El Paso with those calm winds. Again, we're expecting to feel stronger winds later on this afternoon. Also seeing those sunny skies. Right now, we're staying clear. We're seeing a few high clouds up to our east in Carlsbad, but for us, as far as temperatures are concerned, staying in the 40s. Coolest on the map right now up in Truth or Consequences at 44 degrees. Again, calm conditions as far as your winds are concerned, but I'm timing out the strongest of our winds. What side of town we'll see the strongest of the winds, as well as if we could potentially see rain back in the borderland. That's all coming up in your full forecast.
All right, thanks, Amanda. The Border Patrol Union in El Paso says it's backing President Trump's measure to shut down the border. The executive vice president of the Border Patrol Union in El Paso says the situation at the border is something agents have never seen before. The union also said it was opposed to a tent that was set up under the Paso del Norte bridge to temporarily hold migrants. He said it was removed after pressure from congressional leaders.
Quite honestly, I mean, if you've seen the pictures, if you were there, it was just wrong. First of all, it's a safety issue for the immigrants that are there to be exposed to the elements. As you know, we'd had plummeted temperatures and now they were hot. To have them out there in the elements is just risky for them, right? After the tragedies that we had with the children, you would think that some measures would be taken to not have something like that.
While the union says it's extreme to shut down the border, it will stand by the president's decision if it means lowering the number of migrants arriving. The union also said it's working up to 15 hours a day for 6 days a week to keep up with the demand.
Our sister station at KFOX 14 got an interview with the field officer director for Immigration and Customs Enforcement in El Paso. Corey Price has been with the agency for more than 2 decades. He says current asylum law and court cases have created a perfect storm for his agency. He says this current influx has created a massive strain on the entire system.
You know, our staff is overwhelmed. They are pulled away from their normal duties to go out there and simply, you know, serve order of recognizance paperwork on these people that they know are not going to get removed. So even if they go and let's say they appear in front of the immigration judge, which the vast majority of them do not, and they get an order of removal, we would have to go out and try to find them. We'd have to arrest them. We'd have to ensure they're removed. But we're unable to do that because all of our officers are now processing, you know, people for release.
Price says there is no simple solution. He says Congress needs to take action to address asylum law and to build more facilities that can handle families.
Well, the local nonprofit Annunciation House says it's dealing with a lack of transportation now that migrants are being released by both Border Patrol and ICE. Annunciation House says it doesn't have buses to take migrants to bus stations or airports once they're released from custody. Neither does Border Patrol. That means migrants are often stranded for longer periods of time, keeping shelters at high capacity.
The numbers get very, very high on the Border Patrol stream of releases. They're all going to be basically restricted to El Paso.
Garcia says in the last 4 weeks, they've received at least 1,000 migrants a week.
Meanwhile, local church organizations are stepping in to help out with the surge of immigrants. Some of them are providing shelter. The senior pastor of Abundant Living Faith Center says his church was able to raise enough money to rent a warehouse for migrants. It's close to Lomeland in East El Paso, and it's 125,000 square feet.
We've got a little window here, and I think the best thing to do is to address the needs and do our best to help families and you know, be a blessing to them the best we can. And if the situation is still there in a few months, well, then we'll cross those bridges when we get to them.
It's still unclear when the warehouse site will open up.
Well, downtown business owners tell us they're worried about a potential border shutdown. CBS 4 On Your Side spoke with several shop owners on El Paso Street. They tell us some of their employees live in Juarez and cross the border to work. Others tell us business is already slow and closing the border would only make it worse.
For us, for the downtown, it's die because we need a close.
If that happens, I don't know. I mean, we're going to have to keep struggling along.
We need an open border. We need good relations with Mexico.
The business owners say if the border was to close, some shops would also have to close.
Well, TxDOT is kicking off a brand new multi-million-dollar project this month. CBS 4 This Morning, Selena Madrid is live in central El Paso to tell us about the construction and how you can give your input. Selena?
Well, the Spaghetti Bowl right behind me is about to undergo major construction, and TxDOT wants you to stay prepared and informed by attending their public meetings starting today.
This is an opportunity for community members to come out and learn more about the project if they're not aware of it yet, the project's progress, and ask any questions or take care of any concerns that they might have.
Now the $96 million project is called I-10 Connect and is located at the intersection of Interstate 10 and US 54 in El Paso County. Now construction will extend from I-10 to Cesar Chavez Border Highway and will provide access to the Bridge of Americas. Now the project includes 4 new direct connectors, full reconstruction of Paisano Drive, and will remove exit ramps from US 62 to I-10. Now TxDOT spokesperson Lauren Cervantes says this project will affect drivers on both sides of the border, which is why they're hoping people will attend their public meetings to give their feedback.
We all know that the Spaghetti Bowl is highly trafficked. Everyone goes through there, whether you live on the west side, east side, northeast, or in Juarez, right? So this is a project that affects a lot of drivers regardless of what part of town you're at.
Now the first meeting will be today at 5:30 p.m. in the Medical Education Building at Texas Tech University Health Science Center on the corner of Rick Francis Street and Robert Brown. Now there will continue to be public meetings on the I-10 Connect project every first Tuesday of every month. Now this project is expected to be completed within the next 3 years. Reporting live from Central El Paso, Selena Madrid, CBS 4 This Morning.
Thank you, Selena. On the up and up, just how much minimum wage in New Mexico is increasing and when that new wage will become official.
Plus, how Tinder is trying to keep users more honest this morning. The reason they want to eliminate some tall tales. Amanda?
Much warmer for your morning today, but what big changes you'll see for the next few days? That's all coming up after the break. You're watching CBS 4 This Morning on your side. Good morning and happy Tuesday. Time now 6:10 in the morning, and we're seeing the sun slowly rise over downtown El Paso. 49 degrees the current temperature right now. Winds staying very calm, which is good news for us headed out the door. You may not need too many layers, all thanks to these very calm winds, but keep in mind you are going to see an uptick in wind speeds later on this afternoon. We'll get to that in just a bit, but first, satellite and radar showing that we are staying clear. You're going to see that very beautiful clear sunrise for today. Current temperatures also feeling pretty chilly up north in TRC, 43 degrees, 45 in Alamogordo, and then matching that in Deming and in Las Cruces. Current wind speeds again staying calm, but again will not be the case this afternoon and into this evening. Around 6 p.m. we'll see the strongest of our winds out in East El Paso, and even portions of our mountain areas will see that strong wind uptick. For us, Futurecast model also showing tomorrow around noon, we're going to see and start to see those westerly winds work their magic, especially out in Deming, 23 miles per hour at that noontime hour. We will start to see our peak winds around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then we should start to see those winds die down after the 9 o'clock hour. Nonetheless, our big talk are going to be these winds, so if trash day is today or tomorrow, make sure to plan accordingly because your trash bin may be knocked over or maybe even in your neighbor's yard. Futurecast model showing that we are going to stay dry and warm again. Windy, warm, those are our two big talkers. Rain, not a possibility over your next 7 days. We're going to break down your next 7 days coming up in just a little bit. Justin.
All right, Amanda, thank you. Increased security. A look at the new security measures at El Paso District Schools and how the district officials are saying they're also increasing security on their end. Plus, what the ACLU wants done following claims about abuse and inhumane conditions for some migrants in El Paso. That's coming up on CBS 4 This Morning on your side.
Welcome back at 6:15. The White House has yet to comment about a career official who is blowing the whistle on problems with security clearance within the administration.
Yeah, Tricia Newbold, a government employee for 18 years who has worked under Republicans and Democrats, says the Trump administration pushed through security clearances to more than 24 people. CBS This Morning's Laura Podesta is in New York with the details.
A career White House official says 25 people in the Trump administration were granted security clearances despite disqualifying issues.
Things like drug uses, criminal activity.
A memo from House Oversight Committee Chairman Elijah Cummings says Tricia Newbold felt this is my last hope to really bring the integrity back into our office.
The things that she has told us are shocking to the conscience.
Newbold told the committee about 2 senior White House officials who are still on the job. Both drew objections by her staff, but those objections were ultimately overruled despite concerns such as foreign influence. None of the 25 people were named in the memo. The committee has already been investigating the security clearances of 9 senior officials, including the president's son-in-law and White House advisor Jared Kushner. Fox News' Laura Ingraham asked Kushner if he poses a grave national security concern.
Look, I can say that in the White House, I work with some phenomenal people, and I think over the last 2 years, the president's done a phenomenal job of identifying what are our national security priorities.
President Trump celebrated Kushner's work at the White House yesterday.
And his life became extremely complex. And he wouldn't trade it. I don't think he'd trade it because what he's doing is incredible.
Jim Jordan of Ohio, the Oversight Committee's ranking Republican, accused Cummings of a partisan attack on the White House. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
Well, CBS 4 On Your Side is getting insight on the president's threat to shutting down the U.S.-Mexico border. Dr. Victor Morales Jr. is a professor at the UTEP and worked for Border Patrol for more than 20 years. He tells us shutting down the border would not stop the immigration crisis, but would send a message to Mexico.
It forces other countries to take action. And really, that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing in essence, a free flow of Guatemalan nationals, Honduran nationals, El Salvadoran nationals. And if you look at the figures from CBP, the vast majority of those 3 are within 2 categories, Guatemalans and Hondurans. So they have to transit through Mexico.
Mahrez Jr. says in the short term, closing the border wouldn't accomplish anything. He said it would only make a difference if the border was closed long term, but would likely have other drastic effects.
Well, the ACLU is demanding the Inspector General look into claims of abusive and inhumane conditions at the facility Border Patrol set up for migrants under the Paso del Norte Bridge. The group says agents deprived hundreds of families of sleep and forced children to sleep on trash-strewn gravel. The complaint says there's a lack of adequate medical care, food, water, and clean sanitary solutions.
Well, happening today, a Central El Paso citizen collection site will reopen again after being forced to shut down temporarily. The City of El Paso's Environmental Services Department says the site on Harrison will reopen. It shut down due to staffing issues. The site allows people to take trash, household hazardous waste, and bulky items.
Minimum wage is going up across the entire state of New Mexico. Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham signed the first statewide increase to minimum wage since 2009. Starting in 2020, workers will earn $9 an hour. That's up from $7.50. Then it will rise every year until 2023, when it will be $12 an hour. You'll remember Las Cruces increased the city's minimum wage to $10.10 an hour at the beginning of this year. Well, the New Jersey Police Department has a new officer hopping onto the scene. The Waterford Police Township Department took to their Facebook page to introduce the newest member of their squad, Thumper the drug-sniffing rabbit. The post boasted about the department's new high-tech crime-fighting tool when it comes to sniffing out drugs, hopping into vehicles, and squeezing into tight spaces. The whole thing, of course, was an April Fool's Day joke. Well, TSA is
releasing a new video highlighting the weird and dangerous stuff it collects at airports around the country. The TSA social media director is hoping this approach will help make memories stick, and people will know it may sometimes be better to just leave the things at home.
A lot of items are the things that people typically think of, like knives and replica firearms, but there are other items, such as this cane, that people wouldn't consider to be a dangerous item. However, it hides a very nasty secret.
The TSA also plans on tripling its social media staff to help broaden their online presence.
Well, we've heard people say how important height can be in dating.
That's right. And now Tinder is introducing a new way to demonstrate that, a new tool to verify your height.
Well, some people think it's all a big April Fool's joke, but the tech company tweeted saying the height verification badge will bring back honesty into dating. Users input their true height along with a screenshot of them standing next to any kind of commercial building.
According to Tinder, most guys who state their height is at 5'10", their profiles, they're actually only about 5'6".
Oh, that is a big fib there. Well, it's probably not something you have to worry about, Justin, thankfully, but very interesting for sure.
Right.
All right, Amazon is cutting more prices at Whole Foods, and Texas manufacturers had a rough month of March. Jane King is in the NASDAQ with those stories and more in today's Texas Business Report.
Hello, Texas. Manufacturers in the state are shoring up their inventories as a decrease in new orders this month left them with a shortage of places to send their products. The Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas says production was up last month, but orders fell for the third month in a row. Well, the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport launched a new nonstop flight to Paris. The Air France flight will be operated up to 5 flights a week. JCPenney will likely close more stores in addition to the 27 that it identified for closure earlier this year. That's according to Moody's analysts. Moody's says even after the announced store closings, the company will have a larger footprint than many of its competitors. And Amazon planning to cut prices on hundreds of items at Whole Foods stores this week. The price cuts affect more than 500 products and include a focus on produce and meat. According to the Wall Street Journal, the cuts will average 20%, and they're set to drop tomorrow. From the NASDAQ market site in Times Square, I'm Jane King with your Texas Business Report.
All right, if it's getting cheaper, I might have to go back to Whole Foods and check them out. It's just a little bit pricey.
Right.
Sometimes the produce is just a little too much.
But their food is, so good. If you need a
Mhm.
quick salad, you just get one of the
Yeah.
prepackaged ones, or I guess prepackaged, whatever they want to call them. But they're so
There's lunch,
good. Yes,
right?
exactly. Lunch. They have sushi, everything. Oh my gosh, I'm hungry. You can obviously tell. 7-day forecast. You may want to stay in and eat a salad or something, burger, whatever you want to eat, because we're going to see those windy conditions not only today but for tomorrow as well. Keep in mind gusts to about 30 miles per hour for tomorrow with those warmer conditions all across your borderland area. 79 degrees your forecast high for today, 78 for tomorrow. We're going to stay in the 70s and above average really for your next 7 days. Average for this time of year, 75 degrees. We're going to be pushing 80 degrees for your Saturday, and then Sunday, well, we're going to be in the 80s, 82 degrees with those sunny skies, and then mostly sunny skies and 83 degrees. Keep in mind today and tomorrow, not the only 2 days with those windy and gusty conditions. We're actually going to see those breezy to windy conditions for your Friday and Saturday as well.
All right, thanks, Amanda. Still ahead, suspect identified.
Good old detective work, right? It's going to involve not only the surveillance footage, but also I know they talked to tons of people.
Police have identified the man accused of shooting and killing a Grammy-nominated artist.
Plus, a look at the chaotic scene that played out at a memorial for that rapper. That's coming up on CBS 4 this morning on your side. A good start to the week on Wall Street. On Monday, the Dow closed up 329 points.
The Nasdaq gained 99, the S&P 500 was up 32, but shares of Lyft dropped nearly 12% in its first full day of trading. The ride-hailing company went public on Friday at $72 a share. Well, yesterday it ended the day at just about $69. New research is looking at the impact of sugar on respiratory disease. In a study on mice, UK scientists found lowering glucose levels in the lungs could reduce inflammation and help people with asthma. They also found increasing sugar levels might help protect against some lung infection.
Under the tongue, allergy tablets are becoming increasingly popular. A new study finds 73% of allergists prescribe the tablets for their patients, many times in place of shots. However, some doctors say patients with multiple allergies may benefit more from the shots.
More allegations of inappropriate behavior.
He walked up to me and wrapped his hands around my face like that and pulled me in and started rubbing noses with me.
More on the latest women accusing former Vice President Joe Biden of unwanted touching.
And gas station robbery thwarted the incredible can't miss video. Selena?
And $96 million. I'll tell you what TxDOT is putting this money towards next. Amanda?
Warmer temperatures, but why it won't be so calm for long. I'm going to go ahead and let you know coming up after the break. You're watching CBS 4 this morning on your side. Good morning and happy Tuesday, 6:30 in the morning this Tuesday morning. We're actually feeling those very warm conditions, much warmer than we were seeing yesterday. No temperatures in the 30s just yet. Obviously, we are seeing those calm conditions as well as a beautiful sunrise currently. Right now, this is a look at our mountain camera. 53 degrees the current temperature with those winds on the rise right now closer to the mountain areas, anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour. This is just how much warmer we are, though. We're about 9 degrees warmer than we were yesterday at this time here at the El Paso International Airport. Same goes for you, TRC, and about 2 degrees warmer in Deming. Other current temperatures right now, 43 degrees up in TRC and 45 in Alamogordo, but we're tracking strong winds here in the borderland. What side of town will potentially see the strongest of them and what times you'll have to run indoors? Alyssa, Justin.
All right, thanks, Amanda. TxDOT wants your input on a brand new construction project. CBS 4 This Morning, Selena Madrid is live in Central El Paso to talk about the public meeting they're having today. Selena?
Well, the Spaghetti Bowl right behind me is about to undergo major construction, and TxDOT says this specific project will affect people on both sides of the border.
Because it is the construction of 4 new connectors, there will be at some points complete shutdowns of I-10, US 54, various ramps on the Spaghetti Bowl. International traffic will be impacted as well.
Now, the $96 million project is called the I-10 Connect and is located at the intersection of Interstate 10 and US 54 in El Paso County. Now, construction will extend from I-10 to Cesar Chavez Border Highway and will provide access to the Bridge of Americas. Now, the project will include construction of 4 new district connectors, full reconstruction of Paisano Drive, and will remove exit ramps from US 62 to I-10. Now, TxDOT spokesperson Lauren Cervantes is hoping people attend their public meetings to become informed on the project and give their feedback.
It's very important to note that while there will be closures, there will always be access. People just need to stay informed on detours, watch for messaging along the roadway, and we also have different ways that they can stay informed electronically.
Now, the first meeting will be today at 5:30 p.m. in the Medical Education Building at Texas Tech University Health Science Center on the corner of Rick Francis Street and Robert Brown. And there will continue to be public meetings every first Tuesday of every month for the I-10 Connect project. Now, this project is expected to be done in the next 3 years. Reporting live from Central El Paso, Selena Madrid, CBS 4 This Morning.
Thank you, Selena. Well, a major decision is coming this morning on the future of the presidency of UTEP.
CBS 4 This Morning's Keenan Willard tells us who will deliberate and what's at stake.
The University of Texas System Board of Regents is set to vote this morning on the controversial appointment of Heather A. Wilson as the next president of UTEP. Now, the board's phone meeting scheduled this morning says that they plan to deliberate and take appropriate action with regard to the current U.S. Secretary of the Air Force in a closed executive session. UTEP announced Wilson as the sole finalist for the presidency in early March, and backlash swiftly followed as students and activists took issue with her past stances on LGBT issues. A Change.org petition urging the UT Board of Regents to withdraw Wilson from consideration as UTEP president currently has over 10,000 signatures. Wilson visited UTEP's campus on Thursday to hold meetings with student and faculty representatives in an attempt to improve her standing in the university community. On March 8th, Wilson announced via Twitter that she had informed President Donald Trump that she planned to resign from her post as Secretary of the Air Force. Current UTEP President Diana Natalicio says that she plans to resign as soon as the university names her successor. For CBS 4 This Morning, I'm Keenan Willard.
All right, an El Paso ISD teacher and soccer coach is accused of having an inappropriate relationship with a student. Crimes Against Children detective arrested 32-year-old Jose Cifuentes. He is a math teacher at Guillen Middle School and an assistant for the varsity boys soccer team at Austin High School. EPISD says he resigned last week. He's now jailed at the El Paso County Detention Facility on a $100,000 bond. Well, there are new allegations of sexual misconduct emerging this morning against former Vice President Joe Biden.
This comes as Biden continues to grapple with the prospects of a 2020 White House bid. A former congressional aide says Biden went too far during a campaign stop back in 2009.
He walked up to me and wrapped his hands around my face like that and pulled me in and started rubbing noses with me.
Well, that follows claims from Nevada politician Lucy Flores, who says Biden smelled her hair and kissed the back of her head during a campaign appearance, making her uncomfortable. Both of these accusers are Democrats. A Biden spokesman, however, is blaming what he calls right-wing trolls for trying to tear down Biden's reputation. Well, Los Angeles police have identified a suspect in the shooting death of a Grammy-nominated rapper.
CBS 4 This Morning's Laura Podesta has details on who that person is, plus how last night's vigil for Nipsey Hussle turned very violent.
What was supposed to be a peaceful gathering at the site where rapper Nipsey Hussle was killed turned chaotic overnight. One person was seen being carried by Los Angeles police, others treated by ambulances. LAPD says many of the injuries stemmed from people being trampled.
Absolutely chaotic, mass panic. When we were watching it from footage from overhead, it was literally people scattered in all directions.
33-year-old Hussle was gunned down Sunday outside the clothing store he owned. Police are still looking for the shooter, who they say is this man, 29-year-old Eric Holder.
Good old detective work, right? It's going to involve not only the surveillance footage, but also I know they talked to tons of people that cared about this individual greatly and wanted to see justice.
Raised by his mother and grandmother, Hussle admitted in interviews that as a teenager, he was involved in a gang.
I grew up in LA in the 90s. Gang culture was what was going on, outside of my family structure.
But music turned his life around. His debut album was nominated for Best Rap Album at this year's Grammy Awards. Hussle eventually started investing in his troubled South LA neighborhood. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
Incredible video this morning. Police are on the hunt for this man who attempted to hold up a gas station clerk with a shotgun. Surveillance video showed a masked man running into the store demanding money. The clerk begins handing over the cash when the robber climbs on the countertop. That's when a scuffle ensues, the clerk yanking the gun away from the man and quickly chasing him from the store. Still ahead, a family of an accused killer speaks for the first time.
You made this thing so bad. I want to know if you did this and tell me. That's all I want to know. Tell me the doggone truth.
The parents of the man accused of killing USC student Samantha Josephson believe he's innocent. The story they're telling this morning.
The family of an elementary student that died during a fight continues to demand answers. The reason police say it could be weeks before they know all the details. That's coming up on CBS 4 This Morning on your side.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday. It's 6:40 in the morning right now, and we're feeling much warmer than we were yesterday morning, 53 degrees. Right now, the current temperature using our mountain camera, these easterly winds stay in anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour. Again, closer to your mountain areas, you are seeing and feeling those stronger winds. On the lowlands, we are seeing those wind speeds anywhere from 5 to 10 miles per hour, so still a little bit calmer. But for us here in the borderland area, your 24-hour temperature change, we're about 9 degrees warmer than we were yesterday at this time. 9 degrees warmer up north in TRC as well. 48 degrees the current temperature at the El Paso International Airport, 44 in Alamogordo, and 44 out in Demi. Again, calm conditions here in the lowland areas, but that will not be the case later on this evening. 6:30 p.m. you can see these westerly winds really starting to increase. Going to be the case for tomorrow as well. Actually going to see stronger winds gusting to about 30 miles per hour. Also, our winds are going to come along much sooner for tomorrow. You can see by the 1 o'clock hour, we're already seeing these westerly winds anywhere from 25 to 35 miles per hour with the strongest gusts and wind speeds around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So your bin, you're going to want to make sure that it's not knocked over, especially if trash day is tomorrow for you. What does that mean for your wardrobe? Well, scarf, I like to wear that during windy days just to cover my mouth from any dust, debris, anything, as well as sunglasses to protect my eyes as well. You may need your sweater in the morning because, again, we are going to see and feel those cooler temperatures. As far as disturbances, we're not going to see anything as far as rain is concerned for your next 7 days. Hour by hour forecast showing just how warm we're expected to get for today and also for your next 7 days and into your weekend.
All right, thanks, Amanda. In full bloom, visitors around the world make their way to the nation's capital to enjoy cherry blossoms in full bloom. How long they're expected to last, coming up on CBS 4 This Morning on your side. Welcome back at 6:45 this morning. A new measure in Georgia is at the center of a growing storm over abortion rights.
Enacted as scheduled in 2020, the law would be one of the strictest in the country and could wind up in the hands of the justice in the highest court in the country. St. Clair's national correspondent Christine Fazone brings us more.
It's just the latest in a series of measures taken at the state level to change the current landscape of abortion rights.
This House has agreed to the Senate substitute, House Bill 481.
Known as the Heartbeat Bill, the measure makes it illegal for doctors in Georgia to perform an abortion once a heartbeat is detected, which could be as early as 6 weeks, a time many women don't even realize they're pregnant, according to some doctors.
And we recognize that balancing the interest of mothers in very difficult situations with a basic right to life of children is an important function of government.
Under the bill, victims of rape or incest would be able to still receive an abortion up to 20 weeks if they file an official police report.
Today, Senate Republicans ignore precedent, medical experts, women, and the OBGYNs in this state.
This highly personal speech against the bill by Georgia Democratic lawmaker Jen Jordan has now gone viral.
What gives this body the right to substitute its choices for those of the women who will no doubt bear the scars, the consequences, and who will face death, and now likely prison?
Echoes of that debate now reverberating here on Capitol Hill, where lawmakers on both sides of the aisle and of the issue are gearing up for a fight in which they think they could play a major role.
The American people need to step up with the help of Congress and I think have a right to life amendment to the United States Constitution.
We're not going to let women in this country have their health care rights erased.
This latest push at a time of renewed optimism for conservatives who believe a changed court and a receptive president will allow this law and others like it to prevail. In Washington, I'm Christine Frizzau.
Police in South Carolina say USC student Samantha Josephson was killed by multiple sharp force injuries. An autopsy revealed Josephson suffered wounds to her head, face, neck, upper body, leg, and foot. Police have not revealed what weapon was used in her murder, but believe Josephson was kidnapped and killed after getting into a car she mistakenly thought was an Uber. 24-year-old Nathaniel Rowland has been arrested and charged with Josephson's murder after police found blood and a cell phone in his car Saturday night.
But this morning, the family of the man accused of kidnapping and killing Samantha Josephson says he's innocent. Parents of Nathaniel Rowland were told by his other son that Rowland was at a house party and passed out. When he woke up, his keys were missing. He then found them inside the car along with blood. For now, the family is not being allowed to visit Rowland, but his father wants to send him a message.
But if you didn't do it, I'm all out for you. You ain't got to worry about it. I'm behind you 100%. And I know he told my wife he didn't do it. And I know my wife ain't gonna lie about something like that. So I'm behind him 100%.
Columbia, South Carolina police and the state law enforcement have not said if Samantha knew her accused killer. They have not confirmed those claims.
Well, a father in South Carolina continues to demand answers after his daughter died following a fight at school. Fifth grader Rihanna Wright died last week, just several days after a fight with another student. According to school officials, Wright had to be airlifted to a hospital after a fight due to her injuries. While the autopsy was released Friday, police say it could be weeks before final conclusions are made and released to the public. Wright's father spoke yesterday, saying his family wants answers that the school is not providing.
Here today, looking for justice for my daughter, and I wanted just to find out what happened, how it happened, and who was involved. That's really it.
The other student involved in the fight has not been identified by the school, but they have said the student is suspended for an undetermined amount of time.
Well, a new website in London is helping online shoppers feel good about their spending habits.
That's because for every purchase made through the website, someone living on the streets gets help. This man waits in line for a free cup of coffee from volunteers. It's something small he looks forward to after becoming homeless last year. Along with his coffee, he gets clothes, a gift bought by online shoppers. The site has sold more than 2,500 items. Varun Bagnat runs the shop from a small room in his parents' home.
We recently got engaged and we had such a great year. We felt really blessed and we wanted to do something to, I guess, give back to the world.
There are more than 170,000 homeless people in London, and Bagnat knows their little shop can't reach everyone, but he hopes more people will buy into the idea of helping those in need. A yearly tradition in the nation's capital is now underway. Washington's iconic cherry blossom trees have officially hit peak bloom. Visitors flock to the nation's capital by the thousands to enjoy Washington's Cherry Blossom Festival. The festivities last for almost a month, but the Yoshino cherry trees, a gift from Japan in 1912, are usually only in full bloom for about a week. This year, they're expected to stick around longer than normal due to cool and calm weather expected in D.C.
And what a gift.
Yeah, they're so pretty.
Not only are they pretty, it also smells good usually too.
Yeah,
so
they have a fragrance.
it's nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really nice.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
So beautiful. Wish we had some cherry blossom trees here in the borderland. We have something similar, but nothing just quite like what we see in our nation's capital.
Washington's a quick flight away.
Yeah, no, not so much. Very far, especially if you're driving. What is it, like 30 hours
That's
almost?
I don't even want to think about it.
No. Here in the desert Southwest, though, we're talking wind, the possibility of warmer conditions. Let's go ahead and break all of that down right now. 79 degrees, the current temperature for your Tuesday. Windy and gusty conditions for Tuesday and Wednesday. Again, we're expected to warm on up for your weekend as well, pushing 80 degrees for your Sunday, 82, 83, and mostly sunny for your Monday. Remember, average high for this time of year, 75 degrees, so we are going to stay well above that average for the next few days. Nonetheless, also warmer overnights. Just make sure to prepare for these windy conditions today, tomorrow, and also for your Friday and Saturday. Not going to be as windy as we're seeing on Wednesday. Nonetheless, we are expecting gusts to about 30 to 35 miles per hour for tomorrow. So again, if tomorrow is trash day for you, make sure to plan accordingly because your bin may be knocked over.
All right, you're not going to want to miss this story. Bugs for snacks, while you might want to add more grasshoppers and ants to your diet.
And a new exhibit underway at the Smithsonian Museum, the new additions it will have and when it's expected to open up. That's coming up on CBS 4 this morning on your side.
Welcome back to the show, 6:54 for your time. The El Paso law enforcement community is continuing to show their support for the family of slain Deputy Pete Herrera. Yesterday, dozens of sheriff deputies and El Paso police officers lined up outside Drugan Elementary in the Socorro district. Herrera's brothers and sisters in blue escorted his stepdaughter back to school.
Well, a new dinosaur exhibit is set to open at the Smithsonian Museum of Natural History. The new addition will house 3.7 billion years of life on Earth. It will feature one of the most intact Tyrannosaurus rex fossils in the world. The T-Rex will join more than 700 other specimens, including insects, animals, and plants. The Grand Hall is scheduled to open to the public in June.
Well, it may look like a zombie walk, but it's not. It's actually part of an April Fool's celebration. This is the Silly Walk parade in Budapest. Hundreds of Hungarians marched through the streets. Many copied flamboyant movies from British comedy group Monty Python. It's part of a famous television sketch to mark April Fool's Day.
Cute. Well, you may not want them in your house.
Yeah, but you may want them on your plate. The book, The Young Adventure Guide to Almost Everything, gives an interesting tip on eating adventurously, and the tip is insects. According to the book, bugs like grasshoppers, crickets, and ants are all edible and, better yet, full of protein. The book suggests that by cooking them and eating them, you will be joining about 80% of the world's population. No, thank you.
Oh, no. And they were just previously crawling. Oh, I don't know. It's just gross.
It's funny because it reminds me of Lion King, like Timon
and Pumbaa.
Oh,
yes, yeah, absolutely.
It's so funny because they have those at the ballpark. They have chapulines, which I don't know if they're crickets or grasshoppers. They need to double check on that. But it felt so cool. I felt like a little kid again, eating grubs, you know?
Go to the ballpark, feel like Timon and Pumbaa.
Yeah, exactly. We have to take y'all out there. But super exciting. Obviously, opening day just a few days away.
Yeah.
So how's the weather looking? One last look at your 7-day forecast. 79 degrees for your Tuesday opening day. 79 degrees with those mostly sunny skies. Going to be beautiful. But then those winds back in our forecast Friday and Saturday.
All right. Thank you so much for watching CBS 4 this morning. Justin, Amanda, and I are back at noon. CBS This Morning starts right now.